Now, at this juncture, you permit me to introduce to us our own moderator of the Global Evangelical Church, whose permission is making this program here possible. He will come to welcome us, but I want to introduce him so that when the time comes, he will just come and bless us. It's in the person of Right Reverend Prosper Samuel Jomaku. Shall we give him a hand? Yes. Then we also have our male presbyter on Synod Committee Executive. It's in the person of Mr. Eiram Kwame Achu. Let's appreciate him. Then we have our female presbyter on Synod Committee Executive. It's in the person of Mrs. Diodone Joyce Ahiabo. Now, I will mention the name of the man who is going to also be part of the facilitators blessing us here. Just mention the name, but the proper introduction will be done by the department head, director of Physical Development and Social Services. He will come and do proper introduction of him. But his name is Chonam Akpelo. Akpelo. Talabe mi awakpane wasogbo. Aha, Akpelo. Now I introduce to you the departments that is championing this one under the directorship of our own Reverend Wisdom Ayite. Shall we appreciate him? On this note, I want to invite him, Reverend Wisdom Ayite, to come and tell us the purpose of our gathering here. The kind of wisdom he wants to project at this meeting, he will tell us briefly, after which the moderator comes to give us the welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, our revered Synod Clerk, Reverend Dr. Johannes Kwesi Ahiabu. And I want to take the opportunity to say you are all welcome before the moderator comes to officially welcome all of us. I am very happy and delighted to see you at this maiden program. And we call the program Global Entrepreneurship Training, GET 2022. It is a program that we have started and hope to continue annually. And if you ask, that's why we say 2022, next year it will GET 2023, the other year GET 2024, and so on and so forth. Entrepreneurship. Why do we want to introduce entrepreneurship training in our church at this particular point in time? Entrepreneurship is all about what we want to do this particular time, for the church. The aim is to plant entrepreneurial mindset in our people. We want to plant entrepreneurial mindset in our people. And what is entrepreneurship? It is all about creativity and innovation. We said we were inviting people who were already into business. Then somebody will say, why do you want to plant entrepreneurial mindset in somebody who is already into business? We know that in Africa, some of us are managing private businesses. We are called the CEOs, we are the MDs, But those very businesses, we just inherited them from our fathers, our mothers, our brothers. But the person who inherited the business, is he actually an entrepreneur? Is he having the mindset of an entrepreneur before managing the business? Can the business survive changes or trends? Let's say emerging trends. There are many people in our church who own businesses, and there are so many more who are unemployed. We believe that if we can bring businessmen in our church, entrepreneurs in our church together to help sharpen their skills, then they can leverage performance, enhance their performance, improve performance, and expand and employ many more in the church, so that we can have that sort of wealth creation within the church, and we can impact individuals, families, and then they will also impact their society, and it will affect the church as well, and to improve upon our finances. That is all we want to do. Because if you look, then we look at today's topic we want to treat, we are talking about digitalization. If you watch the whole world now, that is the trend. But if you watch, you see that most of our African businessmen are IT shy. But whether we like it or not, that is the order of the day. And unless we catch up, then we risk not being able to survive in the business environment, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years. So we decided to do this, and I will not take the wind out of the sail of the facilitators for the day. I just want us to prepare our minds. And then there are so many things we will have to unlearn as African businessmen and learn new things if we want to leverage performance and expand our businesses. So I entreat all of you to pay rapt attention and enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much.
Oh, let's do that better. Let's do that better. A big round of applause. A big round of applause. Hallelujah. To strengthen, to sharpen, to impact, to improve, to unlearn and learn. Hallelujah. Thank you. Next on the program is the welcome address, to be given by no other person than the right. In the church, we have just one right. There are no two rights in the Global Evangelical Church. So currently, we have just one right, no two rights. So without much ado, with a standing ovation, let's welcome the only right, the right Reverend Prosper Samuel Jomaku, the moderator of the Global Evangelical Church. Let's do that better. You're most welcome.
Please, shall we resume our seat? Good morning and praise the Lord. You are welcome to this August program dubbed Get 2022. The guest speaker and president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Tram Akpelo, the Synod Committee Executive, directors, chairmen, leaders of our congregations, businessmen and women, brethren here gathered, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to God for giving us this space to interact. In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, on behalf of the Synod Committee of the Global Evangelical Church, and in my capacity as moderator of the church, I welcome all of you to this flagship program dubbed Global Entrepreneurship Training 2022.
We are grateful to the Lord for making it possible for us to gather here for a program such as this. We also appreciate the benevolence of our sponsors. We pray that the Lord replenishes all that they are spending to make this program a success. The need and timelessness of such a program cannot be overemphasized for many reasons. Permit me to mention 3 of these reasons. The ever-increasing rate of unemployment. We all know that it is a common saying that there are many people who have completed their various schools of training, various skills of training, and they are combing the streets of Accra and the big cities in search of white-collar jobs in most cases. The terrible situation of the ever-increasing rate of unemployment in our country places urgent demand on job creation to absorb our teeming unemployed youth and adults. The church leadership, concerned about this worrying situation, has been considering the possibility of investing into agriculture, which is the mainstay of our economy. And we believe that our young people who are unemployed can venture into agriculture. It also considered venturing into small and medium-scale enterprises to create income, to generate income for individual members of our congregations, presbyteries, and the church at large. Another reason why this program is very timely is the diminishing volunteerism and communal spirit. The stark reality on the ground now, however, is that the volunteerism and communal spirit that characterized the church and our community in the past is dying off gradually. In the past, local congregations, district presbyteries, ministries, and sometimes even whole villages, communities come together to support each other, whether in agriculture, in building chapels and other services rendered. People came together. And when they come together to pull resources together, they are able to deliver better. The case of this good spirit seems not to be the same these days. In our time, everyone wants to focus solely on their own businesses. No one is willing to volunteer or provide communal support for one another and for the church in our society. The third reason why we consider this program very appropriate is that the careful study of the current trend suggests that the need of the moment is entrepreneurship. The church leadership thus thinks that the way forward is to be very deliberate at encouraging entrepreneurs in our churches to come together. Entrepreneurship, as explained by the director earlier, is developing our God-given creative and innovative skills to create jobs for ourselves and others. Developing an entrepreneurial mindset in members of the church and the community at large will, to a very large extent, help members to create their jobs and also to generate income to meet their needs and also contribute to supporting the church's endeavors. We believe this forum is going to give us the tools, is going to sharpen our skills so that we will help ourselves and our members get 2022, as it is dubbed. With the above reasons, it can be said that the vision of the GET 2022 could not have come at a more opportune time than this. We applaud the Department of Physical Development and Social Services for taking the initiative to organize this program in a time such as this. We are particularly grateful to the male presbyter on the Synod Committee Executive, Mr. Aram Achu, for sharing in this particular vision and championing the sponsorship package for this important program of ours. Beloved, we believe that because of this program, God is going to move our church to another higher level. All I can say is, I wish you all God's guidance, and it is my prayer that at the end of our interaction here, all of us will be more equipped to have deeper and richer entrepreneurial mindset planted very, very, very deep in our lives so that we can create, those of us who are thinking of creating, and those of us who have already created, we can think of how best to expand what we are doing so as to offer support to our people and to improve life for many people, by which we will be improving upon the living standard of people around us. May God bless all of us for being part of this program. Once again, you are welcome, and may God richly bless all of us. Thank you.
Let's do more. Let's do more. Let's appreciate the moderator. Thank you, moderator. A deliberate attempt at encouraging entrepreneurship in the church or among members to have deeper and richer mindset to improve the lives of not only their families, but that of the church. Let's give him a round of applause once again. Thank you, the moderator. Now, I describe these sessions as the know-how session. Why do I call them the know-how sessions? Because the how of the thing, mostly we know the thing, but we don't know the how of the thing. And it is said that the how of the thing is the most important in promoting your business, in running your family, in church, administration, and all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, to help us get the know-how of the reason for which we are here today, let's welcome, to introduce to us the facilitators, Reverend Wisdom Ayite. Let's welcome Reverend Wisdom Ayite. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. I want to thank our moderator again for the welcome address. And I have the opportunity to introduce a very humble young gentleman who is an entrepreneur, powerful one, who I happened to meet at one of these great programs for the church, for the nation one day, at, what do we call it? This hotel, big one, I'll tell you later. I was there, and he was also there on the ticket of the Association of Ghana Industries as the president. Now, the man who is going to be the first speaker for the day, or the first facilitator, is our own brother from our side of the country, and his name is Mr. Chonam Akpelo. He's the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, the Greater Accra region. Mr. Chonam Akpelo is a Ghanaian economist and technology entrepreneur. He is the CEO of Suku Technologies and chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Greater Accra region. His education. Mr. Akpelo holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Political Science and a Master's degree in Economic Policy Management from the University of Ghana, Legon. He has a postgraduate degree in Management Information Systems from the Ghana Technology University and also studied Jungian Psychology from the Institute of Humanities and Social Sciences, Gerville University, Sweden. He is a product of Clark Atlanta Business School, United States of America, and Stanford Seed Program Business School, Seed Program of Stanford Graduate School of Business. Mr. Akpelo is an alumnus of the African Liberty Academy and Diplo Foundation. He holds a diploma in financial management from the Touched Institute of Marketing. His career. Chonam is an IT professional and currently the Chief Executive Officer of Suku Technologies and acting chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries. He is also the co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of TechCom Visions, an IT solution firm in Ghana. Chonam is the national chairman of the ICT sector of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He also acts as a board chairman of several institutions, including Accra Technical University, NVTI, CAMTI, and the Methodist University College, Ghana. And I think that's what brought us together, because I went to that entrepreneurship program on the ticket of Methodist University College, Ghana, and we met there. He is the leader of Kadodo Africa. Kadodo Network, you understand it? He is the leader of Kadodo Africa, an advanced gateway that profiles, checks, verifies, and advances organizations in Ghana and Africa to situate them for the advantages of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And that particular entrepreneurship program we attended that day was on this particular area, Africa Continental Free Trade Area, that I attended with him. Chana, I've forgotten the name of the hotel, one of the top. Kempinski Hotel. That is where we met. Sorry, thank you for filling the gap for me. This young entrepreneur won a couple of awards, not only in Ghana, internationally, globally. And then I'll start from the first. He won the Africa's Young Visionary Entrepreneur Award in 2013 by the African Leadership Magazine, UK. And then in 2020, he won the Under 40 Awards. The award that was given to entrepreneurs was given by United States Agency for what? USADF, what is it? He won that grand prize. And we also won again another Young Entrepreneurship Award. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have somebody of substance from our own region who loves the Global Evangelical Church so much and is full of passion to impart this knowledge to us. Shall we welcome Mr. Chonam Akpelo?
Thank you so much, Reverend Ayite. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yes. Please, Mr. Moderator, the leadership of the church, please permit me to begin by thanking you sincerely for considering me for this opportunity to be part of your maiden edition of the entrepreneurship program. I'm really excited because we got into that stage of the world where entrepreneurship has become so integral to the development of not only the business community, but also for the churches as well. So thank you so much for inviting me. I would like to say that I've had a long history interfacing the Global Evangelical Church. When I was a little bit younger, those days vacation, we go to Anyako, where I stay with my grand aunties and all of that. And I recall that Auntie Fanny Aku, which is my auntie, and her big sister, Janet Aku, all of us live in the same house. And then at a point, they were not in talking terms because they belong to different divide of the. So, but we eat in the same plate, but they don't talk. It was an interesting situation growing up, seeing them. And then at a point, the Auntie Fanny was involved, in the church and attended a lot of court proceedings on behalf of the church until she passed on some decades ago. And then, so when I came to Legon, there's a gentleman I met, Akpeko. I'm sure he's still with the church, Akpeko, Akbevade. So Akpeko would insist that every Sunday he would take me to Gesam. So for a very long time in my time in Legon, I fellowship with Gesam. And there's a gentleman called Reverend Ati. I really love that gentleman a lot. He preached, he's a great preacher, and I always remember a statement he made. He says that everybody talks about the growth of the church, but nobody is defining the growth, whether qualitative or quantitative. So that statement always rings bell with me. So thank you so much for having me to be part of your meeting today. Can I please have the PowerPoint? So today we are going to talk about digitalization. And when we were doing the introduction, I listened very carefully about everybody sitting in the room. I realized that there are a lot of folks who are already in technology. So what we are going to do is that today we are going to remind ourselves with the things we already know. And those of us who don't have knowledge yet about most of the things, we'll try to get the knowledge. If I can have the PowerPoint, please. Digitalization. Great. So can I have the thing to regulate it myself? Or please move to the next slide. Otherwise, if I can have it too. Digitalization of businesses. Please move. Yeah, so we are going to start with some open questions. So now everybody is going to talk because I'm going to be a facilitator. So I'm going to be facilitating the conversation. Please move to the... Yes, so my first question, what comes to mind when you think of digitalization in businesses? So I just want at least 2 comments, then we move to the next one. What comes to mind? Okay, if you don't talk, me, I'll find people to talk. What comes to mind? Auntie Deborah. Yes, what comes to mind? You're surprised I know your name. Okay, good. Please clap for her. I like that. Who else? It has to be a man, but not the one who ran the IT business. But George Loco. George, please tell us.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I want to put it in the context of the industry where I work.
Okay.
The financial industry. In the past, we used to have ledger cards where we write, we post customers' balances in ledger cards. We have moved from that to the computer system.
Okay.
And also linking computer systems with other devices,
Okay.
such as point-of-sales devices,
Okay.
where by a click of a button, you credit your customer's account or you debit the customer's account.
Okay.
So my understanding of digitalization is moving away from manual systems and trying to use computerized systems to serve your clients. That is what I can
Great.
say.
Thank you. Thank you. Please clap for him again. So let's move to the next question. Yes. What successful digital technologies, initiatives, or best practices has your organization created? Yes. Sitting to auntie. You know yourself. It's your time.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
My organization is on. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram and LinkedIn. Trying to bring our product and services to our customers.
Okay.
We believe that as many people, we are in that age now, so as many people are on this, platforms. And so we are able to reach out to them through this medium.
Great one. Thank you so much. Can we have somebody else to attempt that question? Please, that's
I would say in my setup, there used to be pay slips printed for staff manually. You print pay slips, you write their names on it, you share them individually to departments. But because we have clients dotted around the region, we have automated the system where when payrolls are ready, we email pay slips and also send them to SMS where you can just open it and use it for the purpose you need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, can we move to the next one? How ready do you think the Ghanaian market is for digital business practices? So this is just a general perspective of what you think. Can we have a volunteer, please? We really have to participate. All of us, please.
Well, I think the market is ready because many people have, like we are saying, the phones now and they're able to use it. The literacy level of the Ghanaian is quite high now. Both, when I talk about literacy level, both computer-wise and literacy-wise, I mean writing skills, So I think the population is quite ready. And especially with this current government trying to champion digitalization, I think we are ready.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other person? Just one more person? Okay.
In the academic area, even though we're using IT, COVID-19 has made it now mandatory for us to depend upon the use of digital means to reach out to our students using the learning management systems, even the WhatsApp, Zoom, and other things to have conferences and other things. So I believe that I will not put a quantitative number on it, but we should be beyond 60% ready now to use the digital system in transact business.
Great.
Thank
you. That's exactly, I like the fact that you mentioned COVID-19, because COVID-19 also has some good part, actually. One of them is digitalization. So, digitalization, I would like to begin by trying to dichotomize between digitization and digitalization, because it confuses people. Use it interchangeably. Sometimes I will hear the vice president making that mistakes all the time. So digitization is just an activity. If you are working in an organization, you scan the hard copy invoice, and then you send it to somebody via WhatsApp, and the person prints it out. You've just digitalized it. But digitalization is a process. So the process of transforming and computerizing the models, the systems of the organization, that is digitalization. It's normally unending. It's an accumulation of different technological tools and activities that allow you to make your business in a better way. But for digitization, it's just an activity to undertake in favor of technology. So really, I would like to use an example of a client I have. She's in Tema, Auntie Fatima. She runs a big fish business. So all this while that she's been in business for like past 30 years, everything revolves around her. She imports the fish, several containers of fish, catfish, all of them, and she'll have people all over the West African sub-region, from Burkina Faso, Mali, who comes buy the ship, buy the fish, and take all the way there. So she ran a huge business, but everything is scattered. And all the time, she's complaining. She's complaining because the money is not adding up, the workers are stealing, all of that. But when we introduce technology to her business, which includes setting up a software that allows her to now have every information of her business on the software. So from sales to stocks to inventory to financials, all of that. So for the first time, she's able to transfer business on her phone. So every week she can tell how much stock is left, how much sales is made for the week, and that tremendously changed the fortune of her business. In fact, she's moved from, within 3 months of implementation, she's moved from all the time losing, all the time the money is not adding up, to making 4 million Ghana cedis revenue per week. So digitalization really helps businesses to be able to have a better perspective of where the business is. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes. So Auntie Fatima's story is a classic example of what all of us as business people should be aiming at. So I tried to do some little analysis of Ghana's digital readiness. So policies and processes. Yes, Ghana do have some strong policies and processes. To be fair to Ghana, in the sub-region, when it comes to digitalization, we've got Ghana.gov. Almost everything is now being put in a technology environment. So you can, with Ghana.gov, you can apply for passports, you can apply for driving license, you can pay your taxes and all of that. Last week, I heard the Vice President talking about having everybody produce their tax clearance certificates before they access any government service. So very soon, I think in October or so, if you are going for your driving license or you are going to renew your driving license, you need to produce your tax clearance certificate. Yeah. And that is a huge, huge step in making sure that the nation is digitalized. It's very important. Everybody here would agree that mobile money business has been very successful in Ghana. In fact, almost everybody here uses the mobile phone to transact financial business. You may not even have a bank account, but you do Momo transfer and all of that. And that's really huge. In fact, I think in the world, we are among the top 3 of nations that are successful with mobile payments. Can I please have the PowerPoint? So the concerns I have about this, though, is that all of these are great, but ordinarily, what you necessarily need to have it successful is training on citizens. You need to make sure that as the vice president leads all this charge, he must have a program in place to train our people to follow suit. It's not enough to have a Ghana card. The Ghana card concept is very great, but you need to train your citizens to be aware not only of the benefits of the Ghana card, but also the dangers. Because that card you have, it has your biometric information. In security terms, it's a very serious matter. If anybody have that information, a lot of things can happen to you. It's a good thing because now you can easily track fraudsters in the system. But what about if the fraudsters now are using your card? What it means is that you are a fraudster, but you're not. So these are some of the things that, how secured is that whole system? So these are some of the things that we need to look at. From the consumer readiness side of things, access to electricity, 86%. Yes, it is true. From the time of President Rawlings, there has been a lot of work in doing rural electrification, programs. So most of our villages now have access to electricity. Internet usage, 58% penetration. I think it's even more because these days I see a lot of people use smartphone. Without internet, you can't use a smartphone. So it's a good thing that we have a lot of. There are mobile phones, 130 mobile phones for every 100 people. So what it means is that there are more mobile phones in Ghana than there are human beings. The thing is, a lot of people use two phones, 3 phones, and so on. And there are more SIM cards in Ghana than there are human beings. Because people have 3 SIM cards, people have 2. So all of these are indication that the nation is really digitalizing. Please move to the next slide. So why do we digitalize? Well, there's no other alternative because the world is really at that stage where I'm really wondering how you can do business or you can do anything successful without having your business digitalized. So, improving customer experience. So the Auntie Fatima story I told you, as part of the solution we deploy for her, there's customer relationship management system. So that system allows her to have open accounts for every customer she deals with. So this guy in Mali, this is her company's name, this is how much she's selling them. Now there's a feedback mechanism. These customers are able to provide feedback about her service. This also make Auntie Fatima give her the reason to improve on her services. Yes, normally if you are, so there were, I think, about 4 big fishing businesses at the port. Immediately she would digitalize her business. She's easily emerged as number 1, easily, because now it's easier for her customers to book in advance and she receives orders. She's now able to deliver on her orders even before they come around. Access and use of data. Access and use of data. You realize that data is becoming a major commodity for all of us. I'm betting you just pause a little and think about the amount of money you spend on data. You'll be marveled. You spend a lot of money on data. But it's become so insatiable that you don't even realize it. When your data is finished, you're in a hurry to go and buy, top up. Of course, innovation really enables innovation. Innovation because without innovation, you cannot compete in this world today. And with digitization, every day you open up for something new. The recent innovation we introduced to Auntie Fatima's business is this. She wants to be able to give discounts to her customers who buy more. So what we did was to introduce a royalty system. So the more you buy, the more you accumulate points. That point is actually money you're accumulating to be able to use to buy in the future. So digitalization really rewards innovation in a big way. Understanding of values. Value system is very important in running a successful business. How do you know the value of your business if you can't comprehend it? If you can't just have it in your hand? You know. Now Auntie Fatima can predict her value, the value of her business very easily. Because now we all will know by the system that she makes about 4 million Ghana cedis every week. Out of that, because she pays her salary from the system, she knows how much her expenditures are, and she knows how much her profit is per week. A lot of us who run business, we don't know. We're just there. Once we take the money from our pockets, from the business coffers, and spend, we think we're doing well, but we may not be doing well. Yes, please move on, because I've talked about. Please move. Let's move to. Risks and remedies of digitalization. Risks and remedies of digitalization. Please move. Let's see. Okay, I think I have another open question again. But before we go to the open question, I would like to find out from all of us if we are now okay with the initial commentary on digitalization. Do we have any question on digitalization? Are we all ready to digitalize our business? Director of Education from Ketunov, how are you using digitalization to transform your education in the district?
It's a lot there we have written a letter, print, and sent to schools.
Okay.
But we are using WhatsApp.
That's right.
And it will interest you to know that even from headquarters, information from Director General, or even from Minister of Education down to Director General, to the regional and then to the schools, is being passed through WhatsApp and email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That's really good. Really. Who else? So education has really, really changed. You realize that these days there are several online portals that you can go, sign up, have your education entirely. If it's an university degree, you can sign up without stepping into any classroom. So education has really been transformed by technology. Also for children, these days children have all kinds of technology classrooms. You just have to log in, and then you have your education. But the thing about WhatsApp, though, it's not official. So I see that a lot. It's not official. I see a lot of information. Your minister like that a lot. Educhum. He will wake up 5 a.m., he's sending WhatsApp, and very important, it's not normally a good thing. There has to be established channels of communication, even using technology. It has to be email. Even for email, it has to be an official email. So official email is not gmail.com. Official email is globalevangelicalchurch.com or something like that. So it's really important to streamline the activities. Who else want to share their perspective? I want folks from the private sector, those who are running their business. My friend in property management. Yes.
We use digitalization to market our properties and also to announce our
How,
presence.
please?
Yes, normally we use the online portals, like when Tonaton was there, we were using Tonaton. We also use Kewentele Gigi. And then also on Facebook, we make some presence there to market our properties and also to contact owners for management.
Okay, great. Great. That's really good. So I think that what you're talking about is using a lot of social media to market your properties. Yes, social media has come to revolutionize every aspect of our life. It's so addictive, isn't it? Very addictive. We see people forever, they are husband and wife, they are in the room, then the woman is WhatsApping, and they don't talk physically. But if they are away, they talk forever on WhatsApp. But if they are together, So yes, social media is great. If you recall the Arab Revolution, where Libya, Egypt, all of them went down, they just used social media. So it really brought a lot of change to the world. If you are following the Russian-Ukraine war currently, they are using a lot of social media to communicate. So social media is really a big deal. What some of the leaders do in the world, they just block it. But for us, who are keen to use it for business, is really good. It has the capability of letting the whole world see your products and services. There are tools around it. We call it digital marketing skills. We can have that another day, but you need to be able to use the social media to reach out to the many people who need your services globally. I would like to have the last comments, probably from a woman. There are very few of them. Yes, madam, the one in the white suit.
All right, so for me, I normally use the social media platforms to advertise my products. And then sometimes too, I use the recommendations from friends and families. So they also use the same social media platforms. They advertise it, and then that is how I get going. Thank you.
Great. So how do you use it? You just post your products?
In most cases, I post the products and then I have something brief to say about the products. So I post it, and then they are perfumes, actually.
Okay.
So how it is, like the number of hours it lasts, the smell and all that, and then I just say something brief about it, which is good for someone. If you are allergic to strong smell, I recommend all those things on my platform.
Okay, so you put it in your WhatsApp status or Facebook or
WhatsApp, Instagram? Facebook, Instagram, and then Twitter.
Have you made business from that? Have you made sales from that?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So how do you accept payment? If I'm interested in buying, I've seen it online. But they would have paid you. They would have sent the money to you first before you deliver.
Those that I can't trust. But those that I trust, I take the payment.
Okay, great. So digitalization is helping your business to grow. In fact, in modern times, digitalization has also affected the work of church in a big way. Church digitalization. If you have members everywhere in lockdown, you are expected to preach to them. You can use YouTube, you can use Facebook in order to do that. But these days, there are more sophisticated softwares that we use to manage church administration, really. I'm sure you may have been using one, but we built one for a church. This one is so effectively done, so much so that you can almost run not only the financials, but also the very specific activities of all the church endeavors. So like from preaching to tithing to birthday wishes to many components. And it's so seamless, really, really seamless. And everybody is able to see everything on their mobile phone. So church administration has really evolved. And you realize that during the COVID, it is only those churches that were ready. They benefited. Leaders were able to continue to engage their members. But a lot of churches were not ready. So they were home, there was lockdown, but there was no way they could reach out to their members. So readiness is really, really important. Let's move to the next slide. Yes, as an entrepreneur, what are some of your reservations on digitalization in business? We're saying all these great things about digitalization, but what are some of your reservations? What are some of your reservations? Okay. Thank you. Yes. Who have had a bad encounter with digitalization? Oh, so it's been good to all of us? Okay, Uncle.
Thank you very much. Let me just share a simple one. I'm a pastor and I counsel church members. I have this couple to be that I do counsel using a social, how do you call it? Digital medium. Sometimes the person put the thing over there as if he's present, but he's far away. So you ask questions before you realize that no, the person is not close by the machine. So those are some of the challenges I have seen.
It is true.
Thank you.
Almost all of us are guilty anyway. So let's be honest. Yes.
I think one of the challenges is the internet fraud in the system. And also, we do not have a very strong infrastructure for digitalization.
Great. You're right. Some are so. Okay, it's a lady. Yes.
Okay, I would say that sometimes the product don't seem to be what it is physically. Regarding what you see online, when you physically get to see the product, it's far different from what.
I'm telling you.
So that's what I have to say.
Yes. My PA had a recent a situation where there's a Chinese e-commerce portal. So she saw a car. So she ordered for the car. Because the car was so cheap. So she was like, wow, I can pay for this. You know what came? Toy car. But on the app, it's a proper car. Yes.
One thing I also observe about that is that you make yourself visible to people who are invisible to you.
Invisible forces.
Yes. So they will just go to a place, they will come and say, oh, sir, I know you. How do you know me? So I've been watching you, this, that. So some of the times the people call you, they tell everything about you.
That's right.
They are dealing with you as though you had known them. But before you realize, they can use information, just as you said,
yes,
to create a lot of problems for you.
Yes.
So I am a bit skeptical about making informations available on social media.
Thank you. That's a very important point. Unsolicited information. Okay? So some people, everywhere they are, they put it on social media. If they wake up from bed, you can see. You know, when they are eating breakfast, you know. They're in Kempinski, you know. Really? Why are you doing that? You know? Well, those are some of the hazards. For them, they are just having fun. But it has a downside. Okay.
All right, so one of the huge disadvantage is that you draft a file to send and you post it on WhatsApp and then you realize that you made a mistake. You can't reverse, it's gone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Serious crime, eh? It's gone, you know.
All right. For me, I think one of the reservations is when we design systems or applications, we create it such that it's created for everyone. we don't tailor it to the specific needs of people because, and that's why to the point that our synod clerk was saying, is like when a fraudster calls an old person to try and get their PIN code, that old person thinking that is from the service provider.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you create a system, maybe it's beneficial to people from, let's say, 16 to 35. But if you're above 45, there should be a way that that system will be able to still perform the same, give them the same benefits, but it should tailor it to their needs also. But you shouldn't be having systems where it's just blanket across board without ensuring that there's security for the various, age brackets that will use the system.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Can we have the slide, please? How can you tell if digitalization is working successfully for your business or not? At least for you, digitalization is working for you. You are using social media. Who else have? Okay.
I was going to talk about one of the problems I observed, especially if you buy things online or you subscribe to certain services online. Sometimes when the period for the service you required expires, some of the service providers don't even ask you whether you want to renew. Before you realize, they take money out of your accounts without warning you, like Google. They'll just take money, and that's to the point that our security systems are not strong. What happened to me, I called MTN. How could you allow Google to take money from my accounts without me knowing? And they couldn't answer. They didn't have an idea, So it's a big in the system.
Yes, very, very important point. But the thing is this. When we go, before we sign up for some of these subscriptions, you see long messages that you okay it. All of them are policies and regulations that we need to read before we sign. But you see, most times the way you're under pressure there's nobody's reading that. My wife is a lawyer. For her, she'll print it out plenty. She'll spend the whole night reading. I said, really? Because of $10? But hey, because she believes that everything has to be read. So most times, when you okay, it means that every month, they're going to be taking X amount of money from your account. You see, but that's not what you intend. Your intention is that you just need a service for that month. But they continue to take it. So I guess that we have to begin to be reading the policies before we click them. Please. Yes. Okay. So now let's go risks of digitalization. Loss of data. Yes. Loss of data. Well, where's the hand? Yes. Sorry, sir.
The mobile money usage population and the risk that we are all encountering. I've also been part of the fraud.
Sorry.
And I went as far as to the police to report. I have one of the top guys at MTN, and all that they told me was that they're having a problem with, did they say national security or a department who had to help them to...
Iyoko, I think.
Iyoko and someone who have to help them to really track down those who are into such fraud. In fact, I don't know whether they are always ahead of...
yes.
Yeah,
very smart people.
Yes, the MTN people themselves. So the least mistake you do,
yes,
by the time you realize your wallet is wiped out,
yes,
every money is gone.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the major risk factor that we have, where our systems cannot guarantee the safety of your money in such circumstances. Some experiences are even on the mobile banking with some of the banks that we operate with. Thank you.
Thank you. Very useful point. Yeah, so the risks of digitalization.
The one who is privileged to know everything about you himself is not a fraudster.
Yeah, that's where we are getting to, the risks of digitalization, It's a very good question. And it's a difficult question also. Because at a point, you have to trust, unfortunately. You have to trust. So that's why we put in systems to make sure that once you follow the system, you minimize the risks. But it can't be 100%. You minimize the risks. So, for example, there has to be password to everything. So immediately he's done with the systems, he needs to show you, and then you change your own password and have your own password. But there are concerns about people, once they have the soft codes to the technology, people are able to find ways around it even. So that's why it's important to also be careful about the vendor, the client, the service provider you're dealing with. It's really, really important. So, yes, it's a very difficult world, but we have to be able to make the best out of it. One of the reasons why, after September 11, they were not able to figure out Osama bin Laden and his team very easily was because they never used any connected device. Never. No phone, no internet, nothing. So it was so difficult to find them. Because their world, they have a clear understanding that the easiest way to rob somebody is when the person have these connected devices. Easy. Like you were saying, you can almost tell everything about you. So they can get you. But in their world, they use unconventional methodologies. So, for example, they say that if you see fire, they will light up fire far away, know that there's danger, run away. So they've used all those, languages that our grandparents used several years ago. That's what they used to outsmart Americans for a very long time. Even when the day that Osama bin Laden was caught, they were still not sure if that was him. But the instruction was that you kill him anyway. You just kill anybody, just kill, At least one of them will be. Yes.
Yeah, with the area of payment, I would advise that instead of connecting your whole bank or your wallet to a system or a payment system, you can get one credit card that you can connect to those facilities that you pay for. And you put the money as and when you need it. And if you don't need the money, if you don't need to pay for anything, make sure you take the money from that account. For instance, if you have a credit card with a bank and you need to pay, say, $30, go and put only maybe $31 in this month. If it's exhausted, it's exhausted. If there's no money in the account, there will be an alert that there's no money in the account. Then you let them know you're not going to renew your services, their services, or pay for their services. Otherwise, if it's linked to your bank account, there is money in, it will go.
That is true. It is true. So, in my firm, we have a dedicated card for doing these subscription-based transactions, because most of the things we use are sourced from outside, like the servers and all of that. So that's really a great advice. Thank you so much. Yes. So the risks of digitalization. So loss of data breach, data corruption. Yes. So once you go to the farm, na yidak blenako babako plomoroko nakako babako plomoro vafama. Once you choose to do digitalization, yes, there are consequences that you have to be prepared to deal with. You talked about external, you talk about people internally trying to have access to your system because they work on it. There are also external hackers. And these are more dangerous even. So these external hackers are people who spend time to follow you. Follow you everywhere you go, they follow you. They study your system to that point that they have enough information. And then they begin to hack you. This one, you can be the smartest person on earth. You can be the largest company on earth. Everybody's at risk. We've had very large, even Facebook was hacked the last time. Facebook is easily among the top 10 biggest companies in the world. They've got every technology available, but they were hacked. And normally these hackers, they are so smart. When they hack you, they ask for a ransom. And ransom, so the issue is, this world, if somebody's asking for, you should be able to trace the person. But it's not as simple. Because they will ask from ransom through Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is encrypted. You can't see the faces behind. They'll just send you the code. You send the money. And you have to pay. Otherwise, they are holding you very strongly. So, everybody's at risk. And normally, you have to give them indication before they hack you. So that's why it is important that, number one, our passwords are quite sophisticated. Some people, I can always predict their password, their date of birth, their first name. It's so easy. And then don't give your password to nobody, not even your wife or your children. It's not proper at all. It really must be something that you safeguard very jealously. And please change it regularly. But the standard, every 3 months, you need to change your password. Some of us have password we've been using from day one. It's still the same password. You see? Because there are people you are working with. Your secretaries are coming in, all of that. You are on the food. You call them, oh, this is my password. Check this for me. That's not safe at all. So we have to take steps to make sure that we work on that. Please move to the next slide. Let me see. So, labor market disruption. The technology has changed many things. There are many works that used to be done by human beings those days. But now, with technology, you don't need to have them employed full-time. Most of my engineers are Indians, and they are in India. I've never seen them before. But they work for me, and I pay them. So that work that should have been done by engineers here in Accra, creating employment for here in Accra, is not done by Indians. It's not because I don't want to continue to hire people, but it's because they are cheaper, they are smarter, and they deliver results very quickly. So in the modern labor market, businesses are looking for agile means, smarter means, quicker means, because the costs are really high. So you need to cut down if you need to, on almost all front. Another thing is about call centers. Most of the call centers like Google, Amazon, all of them, the call centers are not in the US. In fact, most of them are located in Ukraine and India. So very recently, because of the Ukraine-Russian war, most of the call centers have been closed. Of course, in war, you can't be running call centers. So they are asking for, especially Africa, to hold some of these call centers. What it means is that if you have a call center for, they call it BPOs. You have a BPO for, let's say, Google. When you call Google, you are not calling America. You are calling somebody who is right here in Accra. And that's the modern businesses that all of us need to take advantage of. We have to be ready to adjust to the market very quickly. Saturday, I was just in Ho and Ziafi in that area because the chief of Ziafi, who lives in the US, is keen to help establish BPO. And BPO can employ a lot of people because each company can sign like 1,000 workers. And that is really the future of technology. I wish that all of us can take advantage of it, and I wish that the leadership of the church can consider it as well to create job for the many young people who finish high school who are home, because what you need is just 6 weeks training for these SS graduates, and they can make the calls. And the payments are really good, really, really good. So it's one of the opportunities. But because we don't have that, somebody else have it. So that job that would have been coming to us is gone, all because of technology. First, companies would have employed people to sit down in their company and be making the calls. But it's been really distracted. What other jobs that are lost because of technology? Do you have any other clue? Yes, banking is one of them. Yeah, because now banking is entirely digital. I mean, those days we joined long queues in the banking halls. Now you can do almost 90% of the things. But don't be like my mother. My mother, she still goes. She will go. She'll go and join the queue and collect your money, you know. But very soon, all those things will be a thing of the past. Banking, what again? COVID has taught us a lot. COVID has taught us that we don't have to move to do how many of the things done. Yes. You remember how powerful Ghana Post Office was those days? But now you don't even hear of them. Yes. Because with the introduction of emails and all of this, fast machine, we don't have them again. All of them are gone. Typewriter. You remember typewriter? Yes. Call center. You know, where you go, you join queue. When you receive a call, they'll give it to you. When you are talking, everybody will be hearing you, you know. Then phone card. People will be selling, is that not a phone card? You put it in a phone booth, then you make the call. All of them are gone. Yeah. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes. Privacy concerns. You know, it's really difficult because it's difficult to achieve privacy in a far advanced technology world. Now, something that is meant to be private, you are now putting in a technology mechanism. I can bet you, I'm sure my PA knows everything that I'm doing because once she interfaces it, she'll see it. You know, I can't be private any longer. And I wish she's not able to see everything, but the reality is that because she's organizing them, she sees everything. But that's even just in a smaller scale. On a larger scale, privacy concerns are serious issues. You realize that you can go to Google and search wedding gown. Then the next thing you see wedding gown being advertised on your timeline. Yes, they read everything you are doing. So you don't have any privacy. That's the true fact of it. Everything you are doing online is being seen by somebody. Unfortunately. So be careful what you are doing online. Yes. I know a pastor in this country, and then he was arrested by the police because, you know, his movements were not very clear. And then the digital department, they pull out his files. All the things he's been doing, you know, naked pictures, porn, all of that. So I'm just letting you know that everything you are doing on your phone, everything you have on your WhatsApp, all of that, somebody is aware you're having it. That explains why they can advertise to you the things you are doing online. So just be careful what you put online, and always know that anytime the thing goes online, it stays there forever. When you delete, it doesn't mean nothing. It's already registered. Yes, the delete doesn't mean anything at all. Everything. Yeah, we have tools. I have tools that I can track everything you've done online, all your life. I can track it. You see? So be really, really, really careful. Not only things you put online, also your voice. When you take the phone, you're talking. Yes. All that information can be tracked. Yes, I'm letting you know because if something happens now and CIA comes and they need to track you, for the past 12 years. The telcos can produce that, your voice, your conversations. So just be careful. It's a risky world out there. That's why if you like, then you can choose to be Osama bin Laden and then stay in the natural world, the state of nature. No connected device. But unfortunately, you can't survive with that type of life. So the best bet is to just be careful. Let's move on, please. Yes, digital media manipulation. These days that people falsify online, people pretend to be who they are not. Plenty is happening. And it's a serious matter because like a big, let's say Total or Shell or anything, you can get their logo, their letterhead, everything online. Edit it nicely, write a letter, and reach out to unsuspecting customers and dupe them. All of them are happening because of digitalization. It's really risky out there. Yeah, let's move on. I recall that during the campaign, the political season, we were privileged to be working for one of the big political parties for their digital campaign. And even there, myself, I've learned a lot about the crimes that are committed online just in the name of politics. Most of the things, about 50% of the things you see said about people or have been purported to have been written by politics, it's a lie. It's just fabrication. But it's done so nicely, so well rehearsed that you believe it. But that's the whole idea. When they put it out, they want you to believe it. That's all. They've achieved their aim. By the time you come back and say it's a lie, the harm has been done. Yes. So let's try to mitigate some of the risks that we've talked about. Perform threat intelligence to identify all areas of risks. We have a technology that allows us to embark on identifying the threat, the potential threats to any technology we're deploying. It's really very important. And it's expensive. It's very expensive. So a lot of our customers, they are not interested. So they are fine. Nobody will hack them. It's only when they have a trouble that they would... So you need that. It helps you give your reports about all the things that you need to know and so on and so forth. Yes, I talk about the access, safeguarding the personal access. And this has to do more with making sure that you, as a person, doing anything technology-wise, you are safe, you the person. Your password, change them regularly. If you see anything, you receive an alert on your email that says, have you checked in your email and so on? Don't ignore it. Be sure that you have given authorization to somebody to check your email. It's very important before you are screwed, really. You have to put in strong cyber security measures. So cyber security, it's another big topic that we can deal with another time, but essentially it's just those sets of policies and programs that make sure that the business minimizes its risks. So it includes many things. Some of them could be that instead of your information on the clouds, you have on the premises server to keep them. So that way it's there. It's not easy for anybody to, But on the premises, it's more expensive. You have to buy equipment and all of that. But the cloud is relatively cheaper. But because of cost constraint, people go for the cheaper one. It's okay, but even that, you need to make sure that it is really, really safe. Then the thing about payments. Payment. The payment fraud is huge in Ghana. It's really, really huge. There are many people who are duped on a daily basis. You use mobile, Momo, and all of that. But unfortunately, because of who they are in society, they can't come out and say, I've been duped. So they keep quiet and suffer in pain, quietly. Please move. Let's see the. Yes. So I try to capture wider challenges that come with digitalization. Fraud. So fraud, as we've been talking about most parts of the time, is really, really a big deal, especially in our parts of the world, where the moral values are not as strong, okay, where people ordinarily will go and do things that are not proper. Fraud is a big, big area. There are people who are not citizens of Ghana who have Ghanaian passports. You know, how is all of this happening? Our systems are weak. The government structures are weak. The fraud are not entirely digital. They are enabled underground. So people collect bribe and do things that are not right. So that's why one of my biggest fear for the Ghana card is how sure are we that they'll be protected? Because if they are not protected, all of us are in trouble. Imagine the wrong guy is having access to your database as huge as the Ghana card. It's so risky. It's so risky. Elsewhere, it's highly protected. It's highly protected. When somebody said, come and guarantee for me to register for their Ghana card, please be careful. The person must genuinely really be your brother or something, somebody you know. Because all of this, if they are looking for him, they can't find him, they will come after you. You know. And for now, it looks great, and it is great. But imagine all this database, you know, the US government can access it. They can see everything, see everybody, and all of that. So let's just stay put with the issue of fraud. The telcos, they are trying, but as I said, they can also do as much as they can do. They can't do everything. Digital infrastructure. You realize that most of technology infrastructures are based in the city center. Accra, Kumasi, all of that. But if you go to the countryside, we don't have a lot of digital infrastructure. You know, I recall those days when we go to Anyako, we will have to climb. There's a hilly place. You go there, you get good reception. If you come down, it's over. You know, but now they are improving, really improving. But we need infrastructure to be successful with technology. If you are producing a product and your target market is folks in the village, if they don't have a good access to internet, it will be meaningless to be using technology to market to them. So it's important that everybody, everywhere has access to technology. And as I mentioned, the tariffs are high. The cost of buying data is really high. And these days, I've seen something by the telcos. You can still buy the same 50 Ghana web data, but it's finishing quicker than before. Have you realized that? Yes. They are smart, right? You know, they say 50 Ghana, no problem. It's 10 gig or whatever, but, you know. And this is where regulation comes in. It is important for regulators to be checking the health of the network. But checking is not simple. The technology you need to check that is expensive. I don't know whether they have it to check it. But if you don't, then the telcos will have a free day, you know, to do that. Let's move on to. Okay, so Kadodo Africa, it's a project that we're working on. From here, I'm going straight to meet the Minister for Communication on this particular project. So, with all this fraud that are happening using technology, and also the fact that, have you all of you heard of the Continental Free Trade Agreement? We call AFTA, the African Union Continental Free Trade Agreement. The head office is here in Ghana. I was privileged to be part of the initial work on it. At the time, I was the youth advisor for the African Union. So we did the foundation work laying the tools for it. But the whole essence of this AFTA program is to make Africa become one market. So the 1.2 billion people in Africa who have access to the same market. So my friends selling the perfume in Accra can have people in Nairobi, Johannesburg, Johannesburg, in real time, buying your product without paying those high taxes that you normally pay. So that's the essence of the AFTA program. It's been launched. There's a lot of talk around it. But if you observed, all the talks are dominated by politicians like ministers of state, president. They meet in a nice room, deliver speeches, drink tea and eat, and then they go. But this program really is supposed to be for businesses, small, large, who are producing in one country in Africa and selling to the next country in Africa. But when we look into it, the fraud situation is so high that even if in your own country you are being stolen, imagine that you have to go and sell to somebody in Kenya. It's not funny. So what Kadodo Africa is doing essentially is to profile and authenticate African businesses so that these are the companies that we are going to be recommending to the different countries for them to participate in the trading area. So Memuna Share Butter Limited in Tamale, there are people in Banjul who just go there and order her products and have it delivered. The good thing is that Memuna Share Butter is highly verified. So the verification is very rigorous. We're doing this together with African Union, Chamber of Commerce, and other partners. It's so rigorous. So we'll check your registration certificate, your food and drugs board certificate, standard board certificate, but also physically come and see. You see how people write things online, big business, but there's nothing. There's nothing. You see how you order a product, and then when you send the money and the product is not delivered. So we check all of that. We check everything. And then we also check the individuals involved. So if you are the chief executive, we'll check your profile. If you said you have a degree in Legon in economics, we'll go to Legon and check. You see, if you have so you've worked here, we'll check. So by the time you're profiled, you're highly authenticated. So we recommend everybody then on the continent to buy from these companies we have profiled. So for those of us here who are in private business, I encourage all of you to go and be able to have your company profile and authenticate. Just go to kadodoafrica.com and then you just apply, put in your information. They will check up to you and check all this information. There's a very recent one. So the company, we were checking information on the company. And then the CEO's profile, he said he's Dr. something, he's a known person. If I mention his name, you know him, but I won't mention his name. So this guy, we checked. Then we realized that he actually doesn't have a first degree even. So he insisted that we put his information. He said, then we told him we can only put information up that we can verify. You see? So he insisted. So we asked him to produce his certificate so that we authenticate the certificate. The certificate he produced is an honorary doctor degree given by a church in Kaswa. So for us, it's okay. So we wrote to the National Accreditation Board to let us know if this was acceptable. And they just had a good laugh. They don't accredit churches in Kaswa to give honorary doctor degrees. So we were unable to put that particular credential out there. But it's still fine. Those that we can verify, we'll put it out. So there are several of these cases that we deal with. Our hope is that all of us avail ourselves to some of these scrutinies. It helps us. It makes us credible for the public out there. The truth is, the Continental Free Trade Agreement, if you don't get up quickly and take advantage of it, the Chinese, the Indonesians, they are here already. They are doing it. Because, you see, there are weaknesses in the agreement. I highlighted it. I told the African president that they should watch it. The weakness, number one, is that you only have to be producing on the continent to benefit. Okay, so the main benefit is this, that you don't pay tax. So if already you are selling to Kenya and you pay 20% tariff on your product, with this agreement you don't pay it. But the condition is that you should be producing on the continent. But for me, that condition is not enough, because you need to talk about ownership. Ownership, who owns that business, who owns it? Otherwise, what you are doing is that you can get a Chinese who will just come and set up his production plant here and be taking advantage of the free trade agreement, which is what is happening. So the citizens don't get, because the citizens don't have that money, the crowd, to be able to do that. So these are the weaknesses I was talking about. For example, I've got friends in Zimbabwe. These guys are Lebanese. They produce diamonds in Zimbabwe, and they sell the diamonds in Johannesburg. When they sell the diamonds in Johannesburg, then they take their money to Lebanon. So now, with the introduction of this agreement, they are going to be benefiting. So the 20% tax that they're supposed to be paying the South African government, they will not pay it again because of they are benefiting from it. But why should a Lebanese benefit from something that's supposed to be meant for Africans? So these are the issues that it would mean that we, the citizens of Africa, must really get up to set up our businesses and to begin to take advantage of the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Another thing is that a lot of our people are not aware of it. A lot of our citizens are not aware of this agreement. And because the nation is highly political, so people just disregard all of these things that has a political undertone. It's really important that all of us take up to do this. Do I have any more slide? Otherwise, what I was going to talk about on the digitalization, the final words will be that digitalization must necessarily come with training and change management. Training and change management. So, training, because all of these are new. These tools, this phone and software, all of that are new. You need people to train it to be very comfortable in order to use it. And we, the people, must also avail ourselves to learn it. Some people have closed their mind to digitization. When they see the computer, no, it shouldn't be. We have to avail ourselves to learn it. I recall that there was a time in the history of the country, there was a gentleman, he was Ghana ambassador to South Africa. You know, he's transitioning now. And this guy, I'm here in Accra, but I was working for him because every day I have to check his email, and then I'll call him on the phone, and I say, oh, you have a dinner this evening at Santon City, you have a meeting with him, then he'll be writing down paper. But if you go to his office in Pretoria, he's got nice computers, everything. And everybody in the embassy thinks that he uses the computer, but he doesn't. So all the time he has to call me. He's the only person, because of him, in the night I don't sleep, because they said they send our information, check. Then I will check and call him. The whole thing is that he's so scared of using computers. Please don't be scared of using computers. That is where we are. That is the future. The people who really avail themselves are the people who take advantage of that. Then change management. A lot of people who resist change. It's not easy. One of our clients, really probably one of the biggest, is one of the biggest companies in this country, the local company, big. They have branches in all over, it's a conglomerate. So when we went to do their change management and software and all of that, they block us. The fight we had to fight, all the workers say no. Apparently, they've been stealing. The workers have been stealing from the company, so much so that we set up the technology. So this company, when we were implementing the software solutions, when we come for the training, they will listen and everything, but when they go, they don't use nothing. Because if they use it, they can't steal again. It was really difficult. So I had to ask the chairman of the company to say that, you know what? You have to make this a strong rule. The rule is that if you are sending an email, if you don't use the official email, or you don't use the official software to issue memos and all of that, it will not be attended to. It is only there that we begin to get some results. But it was really difficult. So change management is very important. If you are bringing technology to your business, you have to sensitize, you have to really sensitize your people. Last 3 weeks, I was in Grenada, and I was talking to the Prime Minister. We were trying to build some software for their country. And then the Prime Minister said, all these things you're talking about, we can't have it because I don't believe my people are capable of understanding any of this. So let's begin by creating a training model and train every citizen of their country. It's a small country, it's a small island. But it's difficult to tell if that's going to be feasible. But one thing I like is that he would always appreciate the importance of training. It's one of the things that I wish our leaders would do, to begin to train our citizens. And our citizens who would avail themselves to learn some of these things so that together we can be able to build a... so these are things that I'm sure we've talked about already. Please move on, let me see. Okay, go back, please go back. So, yes, we need the cost of internet to go down. We do need the cost of internet to go down. My prayer is that even for the church, when you have the opportunity to engage leadership of the country and so on, please mention some of these things. If you do, they take you seriously. The government take the church leadership very seriously. So talk about high cost of internet. There's a way government can force the telcos to reduce costs. It's very easy. It happened in Nigeria. Obasanjo, you just say, no, you either take it or leave it. You can't charge beyond this. Simple. And they took it. Because when they still do the mathematics, they are still in business. They still make profit. But here, somehow, because the most successful sector of our country is the telecommunication sector, right? They make fortune. How come it's controlled by only foreigners? And how come that all the monies are taken out? Why are citizens not participating? The e-levy, great idea. We need taxes to develop. But the telcos take a chunk of the money. Why don't you negotiate with them and have them to really, pay part of that cost? Why is citizens continually being burdened with some of these really high costs? So these are some of the perspective. Then, now that you move to a digitalized world, like what all of you have done with your smartphone, one of the things I want you to do is to take advantage of it in a full way. So number one, look for those apps and technologies that make your life easier and simpler. With technology, there are always cheaper alternatives. So I can assure you that if you are traveling to, let's say, Kumasi now, you can always find a cheaper hotel if you go online. But most people don't know, so they will go there and now look for hotels. And with the limited information you have, there's Airbnb. You can look for cheaper rooms. Just go, just search. I'm looking for cheaper rooms. Okay? And otherwise, because of how expensive all of this is, you are not going to compensate yourself if you don't take advantage of all of this. So there are many, many things. There's hotels2night.com. Hotels2night.com. For example, I think it's global. What they do is that they rent, you can get a hotel, like world-class hotel, just by paying like 30% of the cost. when you go on that app. But a lot of people don't know. But the hotels themselves will not put that cost out on their system. But if you go to hotelstonight.com, you get it. This is why. What they do is that, every hotel may not necessarily be full every day. If it is not full, like in Pisky, we have, let's say, 10 free rooms tonight. It will go to waste. So if in the evening or that day somebody is coming around just to spend a night or so, you're better off making some money and giving it out than not getting any money. So that's the concept. Yeah, last 2 weeks I was in Heathrow, Terminal 3, there's a hotel, Sofitel. I was going to lay over for about 8 hours, so I thought I should check in. And then when I went to the counter, it was £360. I said, what? So expensive. Then I recall Hotels Tonight, right in front of the lady. When I checked, the same room, I got it £80. Right standing there. And I booked it. He said, okay. And I paid. So I'm going to New York tomorrow. And I've not booked my hotel yet. I'm waiting. Tomorrow before I get to the airport, then I'll check. I'll get a cheap hotel. So I'm making the best use of technology. And I'm saying that there are many other tools. There are many things I can share with you. For education, you can check eastchance.com. You get hundreds of scholarships. East Chance, E-A-S-T, Chance, C-H-A-N-C-E.com. Or you can check advance-africa.com. Advance-africa.com. Then there's Khan Academy. I'm sure you know of Khan Academy, K-H-A-N, Khan Academy. Just Google khanacademy.com. K-H-A-N, Khan Academy. khanacademy.com. There are several of them. In fact, there are some portals that if you want plane ticket, very cheap plane ticket, really cheap. I'm going to US, I'm going to 2 cities now, and I'm paying in all about $800 or less. Yeah. But if you know, you know. You see? But when you check the normal, like portals, like all of them, $3,500. You just have to, So you can just Google cheap air tickets. Many portals who come. I'm looking for even them to share with you because I have them. Let me see if I can pull out some of them to mention to you. Yeah, all of them, there are tricks around it. Because otherwise, you are not taking advantage of digitalization, you're cheating yourself. The best time to book airplane tickets are Sunday nights. If you want to buy plane ticket, the best time are Sunday evenings. And also Wednesday night to Thursday morning. That time. It's a crash day by plan. I'm looking. I'm trying to look for, I can't. Yeah, but all of them, I just would sit in front of the computer and search, and then you get it. I'm trying to look for, I can't find them now. I can share them with Reverend when I find them. So you can have it. Yeah, so everything. So let's say health. You are looking for the cheapest but quality hospital. Just go and check. You'll be marveled how you find it. The last time I was searching Ghana, Legon University of Ghana Medical Center or something. Beautiful hospital, world class. And if you go consultation, if it's regular consultation, I think it's free. And also, you can actually book appointment and go the time you book. You don't have to wait for anything. It's because I search, I find it. But I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was that good. And then I went. It's the same thing for everything. Like you want gym, just Google and search. So make searching for cheaper alternative your hobby. There are portals that are really sell cheap product like Kiku. Who know Kiku? Yeah, you know Kiku. Kiku.com. I think KIKUU.com. The guy who it's a Ghanaian Chinese partnership. The Ghanaian guy, I know him. So they really bring very cheap products, but don't go and buy everything. Because you see the nice dress, sometimes it's not what it is. But there are things you can easily buy, So begin to use some of these tools to make your life really simple. Delivery. There are many delivery channels these days, like Glovo, if you want food. Very cheap. They deliver food, 3 CDs, 2 CDs. Before delivery, 30 Ghana, 40 Ghana. You see? So just look for the cheapest alternative, because that's the whole essence of using technology. Yeah. So on that note, I'll just take some few questions or contributions, because we are coming to the end of the conversation. So thank you very much. Any question? Okay.
Thank you very much. You are advising us to use online platforms to receive payments and all that. What advice can you give to us with regards to our bank details we give to the people to use to pay? And how can the bank also block access to those banks so that after the person tried to pay to my bank account, will not come trying to use the same information to try to move money from my bank account?
Okay. So to be able to move money from your bank account depends on the extent of information you give. If it's merely just your bank account, it's almost impossible to move money from your bank account unless the bank's system is not secured. So I would continue to encourage you to use digital means to accept payments, but just give enough, your name, the branch, the account number. With those information, it's almost impossible for anybody to take money from your account. I think that's what I would say. Most of our banks, too, are not that secured. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of loopholes. But as we said, we're in a digitalization era, so we have to prepare for some of these risks, whilst we just safeguard on the things we are doing online. Any other question? And I also want a woman to ask a question or make contribution.
Thank you. You were advising us to change our password regularly.
Yeah.
And also to use sophisticated password.
Yes.
I have plenty platforms that I go to. I have password over 20. Where do I keep them? If I keep it on my phone, somebody hacks my phone, I'm in danger. How do we handle our password? What is the security? Where do we keep it to make it safe? You can't keep everything in your memory as well.
Thank you. Great question. So you have to codify your life. I have a diary that I write all my passwords on. But what you see is not what you see. But when I see that, I know what is it. So you have to, of course, they can get a lot, so definitely have it written down somewhere. But codify it. So let's say your A is actually D to you. So when you see it, it's D. So if somebody tries to use it, it won't work. So codify your life. Codify. Even Jesus Christ was speaking in parables. So you have to. Yeah. Because when he finished talking, it depends on how you understanding. Even sometimes his disciples, what do you think? What do you think? Because it's the meaning, all depends on the meaning you put to it. The reason why there are different doctrines is because there are different interpretation of the word. So you have to codify your life. Very important. And write them down somewhere. and don't use one password for everything, which is the situation. Over 99% of everybody, one password, everything. So just get that one password. And these days, our children are getting so sophisticated. Have you noticed that? So when they have your phone and they have your password, they change it, they do all kinds of things. Please, let's be careful, especially with the children. My sister's daughter changed my sister's password, so she has the mother's phone now, because the mother says she won't use the phone again. So she changed the password and tell the mother she will not have it. So it's the little 7-year-old daughter who is using the mother's phone, and she says she won't open it. That's how serious it is now.
Thank you. I wanted to give a brief comment. When you talked about training and change management, a little story. So a friend of mine is very well connected to the current government. He's one of the executives in the U.S. And so when the government came to power, he worked in one of the financial institutions there. They wanted to, they come up with a system that was being used in one of the state governments to track revenues, like the ports and general taxes and all. So they came to Ghana to show it to the ministry. They liked it, the minister, because on a day-to-day basis, you can see the revenues coming in and everything. And so they were supposed to come for a meeting the next day. And then later that night, he got a call that he shouldn't show up. And then he followed up with one of the secretaries, why, and they said the directors don't want the current system to change because they know where they were also getting their things from. So change management, to your point, is very important, and training is also very critical.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You mentioned about data, and my concern is about data protection, specifically the cloud.
Yes.
So I want to find out whether protecting your data in the cloud is so dangerous, and one should be discouraged from doing that. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good question. These days I've seen data centers even being built in Ghana. There are a lot of them. But data is the next future. Data. And protecting data. Now, almost all the big companies have their data in the cloud. So, as to whether it is safe or not safe, as we mentioned, we can only minimize the risks. But it's cheaper. It's more efficient, especially if you have access to the internet. You can always call for your data and backup and all of that. The only issue is about the security of things. How secured is that data? So my proposal is that, yes, go for crowd services. They are cheaper and better. But all the time, protect it. I go for the best. I go for the US ones, Google, Amazon, all of that. They are cheaper. You can trust. You see? But regularly change your passwords as well. Change your password regularly. And always know that it is what it is. You can only do as much. But for us as Christians, there's one thing I say, though, that in as much as we are preaching all digitalization things, still keep some of the things in hard copy. Some documents, keep them in hard copy. Keep the Bible. Go to church, open the Bible. Stop reading the Bible on the phone. Because what happens if one day the Satan decides to stop all cloud services and you don't have any hard copy Bible? How are you going to read your Bible? You've not thought about that? Because these are the big data centers in the world are controlled by less than 10 people or 10 companies. Facebook, Amazon, Google, Alibaba, there are about 10. If those 10 chief executives decide to meet and say we are going to show the world, so we are putting off all the data, then you are screwed. So my view is that as Christians, some of these things, the emails, you can have them on the phone, but let's have the hard copy, the Bible. Let's keep it. You can never tell. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I have one is just to add to what you said in relation to the Bible. If you look at the fact that the global south, from which Christianity was brought to. What it means is that it relies so much on the soft. It will get to a time that the integrity of the real word will be diluted if we keep most of it just on the soft, because currently it's already happening. If you look at some of the cultures, it's even happening that we should stop because of this gay, lesbian thing. The gender, they want gradually, all gender that is talking about he should be neutralized, and it is taken, definitely. It's already happening, so we need to just be very protecting the usage of the hard copy as well. Now, the main issue I want to contribute to is we talk about this service, third-party supply of the digital services. One thing that we need to take note of critically is the fact that digitization should be a very systemic thing that various stakeholders within every entity should be interested in, so that right from the onboarding, risk control measures are infused into it right from day one, before even the service provision starts. Because just as some of the risks that has been mentioned, there is a need to plug those loopholes right in the service level agreement, which would onboard the person, so that once the person is taken on, progressively, that document becomes the yardstick against which you measure the contractual relationship with. Because you cannot be 100% in control yourself of everything, but you can put something down, bring some legal due diligence in, so that it's clause by clause basis, so that should the third party who is providing those services do anything that will pose a risk to you as an entity, at least you are protected by a clause therein, so that you can evoke for compensation. Because if you are not careful, the person might not be in-house doing anything, but your whole system is with the person. And you don't know, out of his negligent act, how someone can do activity A or B that can cause you so much havoc. So I'm just, in summary, saying that it's very necessary to let digitalization be taken seriously by all functional, not only functional groups, but even the whole management, the whole structure, so that every clause that has to protect the entity is infused in there, so that we can, and that should also be revised, because times are changing, the risks are changing like a virus as it mutates. So you should also put a lot of things in there to protect yourself as an entity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, the risks are changing like virus. It's true. You know, in the case, the youngest bird says that since men learn how to shoot without missing, she also learned how to fly without perching. These fraudsters, these hackers, they are deadly. You know, all the time they are making sure that we are not sleeping. Okay, probably the last one. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Tona. You spoke about taking advantage of digitalization, and you also recommended some of the cheapest way of accessing some of these things that they put online. What would be your advice? Because, you know, cybersecurity is complex, dynamic, and fast-changing, so that we do not become victims of fraud. And also, I believe that some of us are also looking at also putting our business online. What are some of the controls that we need to put in place so that people will not use our businesses and defraud others?
Great. So, good question. That's why authentication is very important. Authentication is very important. You see, the company Philips, the original one is with one L. Then there's another duplicate, which is LL. But they are all Philips. The idea is to just dupe unsuspecting customers. So you have to watch, know who you are dealing with. Another thing is that when this Kadodo portal is fully done, you have to make sure that the company is verified. Any company you are dealing with is verified. And if the company is not yet verified, yourself try and verify. Make phone calls. when you call them, check who they've done business with. Make sure you know somebody who you can cross-check and do business with before you engage. It's very difficult. And the fraud levels are really, really very high. A lot of it. In fact, AGR, the last time we met the Iyoku, and they were giving us information about the fraud in this country, you'll be so marveled. So the solution from the technology perspective is just to do your due diligence. Cross-check. Be sure that there's nothing phishing. If it is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. You know, if somebody, you know, this thing costs 10 Ghana cedis, but the person is 50 pesos. No, just watch it again, you know, before you buy it. Okay, we're supposed to be ending, eh? So probably the last one. And then we look for a woman to speak. Then we close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please, I want to find out how we can enforce digitization in our organization, how we can enforce it to make sure that it works. Like you said, your grandmother will not want to go to the bank, even though...
My mom, she'll be 80 in December.
Your mom?
She's a retiree, she's a retired academic.
Right. So in this case, how do you enforce some of these things to take place in an organization? For instance, we have set up a system where everybody have to communicate using a customized professional emailing system. But in this sector that we are, you realize that people are still penned on using their personal emails in organizations. Yeah. And there is no trace of information when there is change in hierarchy. Yeah. There is no trace of information, and that cripples organization every now and then. How do we reinforce that? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So this is what you do simply. Make sure, number one, you have a manual, HR manual for your organization. This manual stipulates all the things that every worker of the organization needs to adhere to. Key of those principles should be technology and how things should be done. So you have to enforce it by insisting that every activity must follow certain channel. In my firm, you cannot send an email, official email, with a private account. It's not allowed. It's unacceptable. Even we don't even tolerate private emails at all in our system. You can't even copy your private email because these are official. So once you enforce things like that, and you punish people who don't take it serious, so that way you can ensure compliance. A lot of our people are really stubborn, it is true. But you have to enforce some of these things to ensure that the right thing is done. Okay, probably the last one, our presbyter. Okay.
He's talking about enforcement. I think you have explained to us that we need to train people.
Yes.
So if you introduce new things into an organization and you don't train them and manage that change very well, people will still be skeptical about it and may be glued to the old tradition. So training is very, very critical. Yeah. That makes people appreciate what new things are being brought on board and how to go about it. So I just want to underscore the need of training here also.
Yes, thank you so much. But sometimes the reason it's not the training. Training will do it necessarily. Sometimes the people who don't want to comply because they want to steal or they'll be benefiting from the old system. So the new system do not favor their stealing at all. That's why they resist it. Thank you. Yes.
You said you know Reverend Ati?
Yes, nice guy. I love to see him again. I've not seen him for...
So I'm also asking you, where are you now? Why are you not in a global church?
Oh.
You know, Reverend Ati is just our past synod clerk.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Good. He's still with us. You still have other very wonderful pastors. We can see you are well connected. We need you back to Global Church to affiliate with us very well, so you can help us build, especially our youth, to have well connection in job employment and all that. And also,
if the Methodist presiding bishop here you say this,
I know, that's what I'm saying. And also, there's this platform for the Anyako citizens. I'll share with you. Yes, the Global Evangelical Church at Anyako. Every now and then we are contributing to finish that building. Yes, so you are invited. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we have a woman make just a contribution, a question? I want a woman to. Yes, briefly, just in about 10 seconds.
Well, I have really benefited from what has transpired throughout this morning, actually. The position I hold now is the women's coordinator.
Of the church,
Yes, of the church,
good,
Accra
good.
Presbytery.
Okay.
And then using what we have learned today, hitherto, things were not, before I took over, I have seen that using social media, using this kind of things that you have learned this morning, has really helped Accra Presbytery, because this is my jurisdiction, Accra Presbytery a lot. Some of the meetings, we don't even have to meet in person, but meetings are held. Executive meetings are held and things are moving on very fine. So, in fact, with this one, it has really entrenched what I already know, and it will help me to do more. But one question I want to put across, we have different classes of women, the people we work with. We have the very highly educated ones, the ones who are, down, yes. And I am thinking how we will be able to bring this across, at least even for the elite, that this can help. Yes, it's easier to work with them. But the ones who are down there, my market women, and yet they want to grow their businesses, we still use the YAM. It's difficult for you to, move from YAM to a smartphone. How do I get this across? Because I work with all of them. How do I now transition myself from the elite position down to the people, the ones who are down there? Yes.
Great. Thank you. Great question. Great question. It can be difficult because you have to properly categorize the audience. It's easier to train them. For those really down, you have to really start from the scratch. Most times what I've seen is that we're doing a project now with the French government. So post-COVID, we have the contract to help over 800 companies across the country digitalize. It's something we're working on now. And they insisted that we should have those at the bottom. About 20% should be those at the bottom. And this is what we've adopted. We realized that their children are more technology savvy. So we rather would have their children come with them to the training. And then together, we don't only train the woman, but the child, who is like going to school, basic school, show them what to do. Because most of them, really, it's difficult for them to comprehend technology, even at the basic level. So that's number one. Number two, you see that even at their level, they still do Momo. Have you realized that? They do Momo. They do WhatsApp. They read the message. So, meaning you only have to contextualize it for them, help them to see how they can use those tools they have in their hand to market their product. When we're in Ho, there's a woman, she's illiterate, but she does share butter. So we show her how to take a picture of her share butter and put it on WhatsApp status. And she'll be getting business out of that. Yeah, so you just have to get very specific and close to them and do that. But I have to admit that it's quite difficult, really difficult. So there's somebody in our team who is an expert in that, dealing with people at the bottom less. So we can connect, and I'm sure that as we move on the country, some of your people can benefit from, because these are paid for already. Yes. Thank you so much. She has the best comment, actually. Thank you.
of applause. Let's appreciate him. Praise the Lord. Running your business of all kinds, can really challenge you in ways you never considered. That's why we need to be learning all this. In fact, I didn't mention my name when I started the program. My name is Gamaliel Tipo, and I'm a baker, aside being the administrative officer of the Global Evangelical Church. As I'm talking now, my wife is baking on my behalf.